What's going on YouTubers for, ladies and gentlemen? It is the artist, formerly known as the Natural Born Thriller. And this will be your February edition results for Impact Wrestling. Starting off with February 3rd, 2022. And let's get right into it, shall we? We have the opening match of the Digital Media Championship. Jordan Grace defended against Matt Cardona in the match where Matt Cardona was hesitant to do anything physical to Jordan Grace because she's a woman and all. And all of a sudden, it led to Matt Cardona hitting Jordan Grace at the end, where the referee being distracted, a steel chair to the head of Jordan Grace, goes in the ring, goes for a radio silence, and becomes your new Digital Media Champion, which has Matt Cardona turning heel. By the way, just we're taking Matt Cardona being a heel now in pro wrestling right now, which I'm gonna do my best to do those in the NWA reviews as well. So I'm maybe not the show itself, but you know what I mean. But yeah, Matt Cardona, your new champion, and he's a heel. He turned heel. What's this guy do with Chelsea Green? I don't know yet. I don't know yet, because she's a heel in person right now too, but not in Impact Wrestling. But I digress. Anyways, W. Morrissey chases Brian Myers and the Learning Tree. Brian Myers did manage to get away, but the Learning Tree, not so much. It retains for the whole thing with the Impact World Champion Moose. Retains to security, and then security start picking up in the way. And then in this case, the Learning Tree did end up escaping, but not in one piece though. Scott Demoy tells W. Morrissey that you get your hands on Brian Myers in a no disqualification match on the next Impact Wrestling show, which I'll do that. And says that when Moose is not here, he's at the hotel. And once W. Morrissey heard about that, that means he can leave. He's done his way he's got to do in the Impact arena, and now he's going to the hotel, and we'll get to that later. Jonah defeats Crazy Steve with the K at ringside, Rosemary and Black Taurus. What happened with Havoc? I have no idea, folks. Maybe she's wanted to attend her fiance, because I don't know if they're married yet. Sami Callihan, but I don't know. I digress. But wait, I don't know what's the update of Sami Callihan pertains to his injury that he suffered a while back. But I hope he's recovering very well, and hopefully he come back real soon to wrestle Impact Wrestling. But anyway, Jonah beats Crazy Steve. I mean, Crazy Steve did some things, but wasn't enough for this monster in Jonah. After the match, Jonah was gonna assault Crazy Steve even more, but then Black Taurus gets involved, stops him, and that's using that match. So there you go. GM Miller confronts Matt Cardona about this whole situation, what he did, and then bring up Chelsea Green's name. And Matt Cardona was basically being an asshole, and then he walks away. And there you go. Matt Cardona was like a little heelish in a way. So there you go. Knockouts World Tag Team Champions. The Inspiration gives Caleb a new phone. I think it was like an iPhone, whatever. And they took a it's a picture of them, pertains to the Inspiration, on this new phone for Caleb, pertains to the background phone. And then I think Master Marine was there, and then Master Marine like telling Caleb that you're gonna delete that, right? And I said to myself, why do you care? You're married to Josh Matthews anyways, and it's just whatever, right? You're gonna delete that, right? Like again, why do you care? You're not going out with him. This makes no sense, by the way. With Master Rain being with the Inspiration, with the influence, I should say. Ring of Honor World Champion John Gresham versus Steve Macklin. The match I thought was pretty decent. Wasn't better than the match last time, but Steve Macklin ends up basically John Gresham got to the ropes because this is not a match where it stands to pure rules. So Steve Macklin got him in the submission. Gresham got to the ropes, refused to let go, caused a disqualification, and then after the match, Macklin was going to look to add more insult to injury, but then all of a sudden, Honor No More attacks Steve Macklin, and again you have I think I should mention Tom Hannafan and Matthew Rayro, and retains to his Ring of Honor match for the world title. Ian Riccaboni was there, and so yeah, Steve Mack was attacked by Arnold Moore, and he held on for a little bit, but but the numbers game was getting the best of him. Josh Alexander makes his way, and basically this is the match between Josh Alexander versus Vincent with Arnold Moore at ringside, and Josh Alexander wins. And all of a sudden, where it takes to the numbers game too, that's when Rich Swann, Chris Sabin, Rhino all came out as well, to make sure they were right there beside Josh Alexander. And then out of nowhere, Kenny King, also from Ring of Honor, joins along with Honor No More, attacking Josh Alexander from behind. And then Honor No More ends up retrieving it after that because again they're not supposed to be there. So yeah, so now you got Kenny King, the king of the night, the King King. Great that he's there in Impact Wrestling as well. Hopefully they'll actually do something with him this time. With him being being pushed to that top level because he is good. WMOC viciously attack the Impact World Champion moves in his hotel, and that's basically it. That's all there is to it. So I said I was gonna get to it, and I got to it. Kenny King reveals that he's indeed the newest member of Honor No More. There you go. John Schuyler. Okay, I remember now. It was Rajan Singh was accepting the challenge on behalf of this newcomer from Punjab named Bhapinder Jura. I will learn his name. But yeah, so he's tall, by the way. Not that tall. If I had to say the tall height, maybe basically up to the chest of W. Morrissey, because W. Morrissey is still tall, and you can't teach that. Don't know if you caught that, but whatever. Anyways, but that match happened, and he didn't really impress me that much, really. But he started impressing me a little bit more, which we'll get to. I guess being the ring with Scholar wasn't good enough on the way, but in the end, the newcomer did win, and there you go. And I think Rajan Singh was try to be on his side, when he came out. I remember it was during this show, but I digress. We see footage of the Knockouts World Champion Mickie James making her memorable appearance with the theme song Hardcore Country. Her Hardcore Country get up in the way, the Impact Knockouts World Title, which WWE called it the Impact Women's Championship. Why did they call it that? Because they decided to ban Impact Wrestling Knockouts World Championship from their company. So much for that forbidden door that these WWE bubble dwellers and WWE defenders and WWE kiss ass were talking about. There is no forbidden door with the WWE. If there was, that's been closed a long fucking time ago. They don't play well with others unless it benefits them. Anyways, but that's it. But good for Mickie James, by the way. Oh, but let me talk a little bit about Mickie James' appearance in the Royal Rumble. I think she lasted about maybe 10 minutes, maybe, or a little more. And she looked strong in there. And then she ends up being eliminated by Lita, who I thought had a horrible performance in there. And not much to say. But Lita did prove me wrong later on, which is her match against Becky Lynch. So, but either way, good performance there for Mickie James. But I knew she wasn't gonna win. At least have her last to the end, but they couldn't do that either. So what did that mean for Mickie James? Absolutely nothing. All it meant was that WWE, we apologize for everything that's happened with you, especially with the whole trash bag incident. So this is our way to pay you our sorries, because WWE doesn't apologize that much for their actions. So, but there you go. The quintessential Oh, I'm sorry. Gia Miller, she interviews Mickey James, retains her momentum, and then tosses steals, and Savannah Evans interrupts, and rubs salt in the wound after that she couldn't win the Women's Royal Rumble. Vows to defeat her at No Surrender. Chelsea Green comes in for her aid, and there you go. And then it's going to lead to a match between Chelsea Green and Tasha Steelz. So I think that's what it's going to lead to. The Coastal Central Diva, Jessica Saw, is coming to Impact Wrestling. Know what to say about that. Masha Slamovich defeats Casey Lennox, I should say. I think it's how to say her last name. I've seen it before a couple times. Watch her on YouTube. She's alright. So, Gia Miller interviews the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion and the AAA Reina de Reinas champion, Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna Purrazzo says that she's going to be doing this new thing with her being the double champion, and talks about Mickey James' performance in Royal Rumble. That but saying that she may be the Impact World Champion, but she don't have two belts like I do, and says that she's going to be doing the Champ Challenge because the Champ is here. I love it. That's all I'll say from there. Main event. I'm sorry, not the main event. Well, hopefully this is not the main event. Let me see. I'm sorry, folks. What the heck? What the heck? Did this person mess up the results here? Give me one moment, folks. Okay, I found it. Yeah, the person did mess up the results. The main event was Bullet Club. Jay White, Chris Bay, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Lola versus Mike Bailey, Jake Something, Ace Austin, and Madman Fulton, where Ace Austin and Madman Fulton refused to tag Jake Something in this match. That was a story where they didn't want him to get involved in this match, even though it's kind of stupid how it was done too. But either way, it doesn't matter because they lost either way because because they pertains to trying to win the match. You need just something in that match to help you win, guys. So once again, they came up short and then losing stick. And then the show ends with the Good Brothers coming out with Bound by Design to attack Bullet Club. They start fighting, the brawl, and basically send their matches for no surrender. So, and there you go. That was your Impact Wrestling edition of February 3rd, 2022. By the way, my overall scoring for the show. I don't remember if I give an overall scoring of the show for the other ones too as well. But I will give this one 8 out of 10. Now for February 10th, 2022. You have Josh Alexander coming out to cut a promo about every obstacles, every distractions, everything that is in his way to him to get the moves for the Impact World title. And then all of a sudden we get a newcomer coming to Impact Wrestling of the former Connor from the Ascension. Big Con makes his Impact Wrestling debut, only for him to get squashed by Josh Alexander. Also, Josh Alexander was continuing on the assault. As security comes out, he takes out J Securities. Scott D'Amore comes out to calm him down, only to push him down. And they start having a little pet talk in the middle of the ring, which I thought, okay, that was not needed. Maybe they could have saved that for backstage to do that whole thing. I do what happened with Scott D'Amore in that ring, but instead to do this whole thing in the ring, kind of reminds me of EC3 and Bruce Pritchard back in 2017, which I didn't like that either. Especially when it comes to Bruce Pritchard trying to get himself over. Like, since his dumbass character, because he is a dumbass. But this led to Scott D'Amore basically send Josh Alexander home, and there was a situation of why that whole thing, why he was sent home, because of his contract and pertains to his visa, because he's from Canada. It was that whole situation where I think that the situation had to be resolved for the time being. Unless it was just part of all the storyline, but I don't know. It was weird how that was turned out too in a way, but that's basically what it was, because Josh Alexander, by the way, he was supposed to be in the match with Team Impact versus Honor No More for No Surrender, and now with him being out of the picture, they had to find a replacement. So this led to Steve Macklin confronting Scott D'Amore because you got Team Impact there as well. Actually, I remember Team Impact was there until Scott D'Amore bring me up with Team Impact. But basically, Steve Maclin said he wants to be part of it because after what happened with Arnold Moore attacking him for no reason. I should mention too, by the way, Johnson Gresham, when he saw that on the attack on Steve Maclin, he decided to just walk away because he handled Steve Maclin's shit because Steve Maclin was being an asshole to him. It's like he basically Johnson Gresham doesn't condone what's going on with this whole Arnold Moore thing, but at the same time he didn't want to help out Steve Maclin because he was being a big dick to him. But Steve Maclin wants to redeem himself. This is basically Steve Maclin wants to redeem himself in a way. So, but Scott D'Amore says, I can't put you in the team unless Team Impact is agreed to it. So, Deonna Purrazzo does the first ever Champ Open Challenge, where in this, I should explain this too, by the way. The Champ Challenge is basically whoever accepts the challenge must come out, and Deonna Purrazzo holds up 2 belts, and basically the challenger who accepts the open challenge has to choose either the AAA Reina de Reinas Championship title or the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship title. So, who was answering the call? Santana Garrett. No, she's not Brittany. She's Santana Garrett. By the way, I haven't forgotten about that, by the way. The great creative teams of Impact Wrestling during that time when Santana Garrett was there, she was called Brittany. For no fucking reason they call her Brittany. Which I thought was stupid. But she accepted the challenge and she wants to go to the Ring of Honor Women's Championship title. And they had a good match with Deonna Purrazzo winning. There you go. Team Impact tells Scott D'Amore that they want the Ring of Honor World Champion Johnny Gresham on the team to replace Charles Alexander. So yeah, and they gotta ask him first. But in the meantime, they gotta focus on their tag team match against Arnold Moore on that night, which pertains to the Kingdom, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. Before we get to there, we got more to cover here. The Knockouts World Champion Mickie James versus Chelsea Green, and they had a good competitive match. Wait, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was really sorry there. But yeah, they have a competitive match there, and it's not for the title. It's not for the title. But in the end, Tasha Steelz coming in, because I should mention she was on commentary for this one, and Savannah Evans was there too, by the way. Because everywhere that Tasha Steelz goes, Savannah Evans is right there by her side. So Tasha Steelz basically throws a trash bin to Chelsea Green, which led a distraction for Savannah Evans to attack her, and referee sees this. Basically, Chelsea Green was distracted because of the whole thing, and then this led to Chelsea Green getting the win via disqualification. And Mickie James goes to aid Chelsea Green, and that was pretty much it. Chelsea Steelz and Savannah Evans retreats, and there you go. Build more tensions for No Surrender. GM Miller interviews Bhupinder. Again, I'm gonna learn his name. I just need to pronounce. I need to get through this. But the newcomer from Punjab, he cuts a promo about making his debut against John Scotland. Also, he says that he wants to win championships. I mean, he says after winning championships in bodybuilding. Well, so much for that because he doesn't look like he's a bodybuilder now. Not saying he's skinny, but he's still got some muscles. But anyways, but he's also done some boxing, kickboxing, and he left India to pursue his dream in pro wrestling. And also Rajan Singh comes in to approach him, and only for Jura to walk away from him. They haven't. They've been doing this whole thing where he's walking away from Rajan Singh. I guess but you'll hear more about that from me when we get to it. We get to more of it. Master Ray catches Caleb taking photos of the Knockouts Tag Team Champions because the Inspiration are trying to get Caleb with them in the way. I don't know what's this whole thing, but it's whatever. I thought it was entertaining on the Inspiration's part. Bullet Club heads to the ring to address No Surrender with the Goddess of Destiny going up against the Good Brothers. And basically they have a good Bullet Club exchanging words with the Good Brothers and Vibe by Design, and some of it was savage in a way on basically on Bullet Club's part, but that's basically what it was, and I thought it was good. The Ring Raw World Champion, Jonathan Gresham, was taken out backstage by who? I don't know. All the time. Jonathan Gresham was taken out. Maybe it was Honor No More. So we'll find out. The new digital media champion, Matt Cardona, explains his actions of the whole steel chair to Jordan Grace in a way, and says that things have been different in 2022, and it tends to fail winning the Impact title at Hard to Kill, and now since the No Surrender, he's going to give a rematch to Jordan Grace, and there you go. Main event time: Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, the Kingdom, with Arnold Moore at ringside versus Rich Swann and Rhino with Team Impact ringside. Match itself, I thought, Maria Kanellis was on commentary. I should mention that. But the match itself was decent, with the Kingdom getting the win. After the match, Matt Taven was going to do something, and then Steve Macklin comes out for the save, and then Steve Macklin takes out Taven, and Ron hits the gore onto Mike Bennett, and then that was it. Oh, yeah, off the matches too, by the way, the ring runner, Kerry, I can't remember his last name, but Silken, Kerry Silken, who's in charge of ring runner. He was there too, by the way. I should have mentioned that too as well. And he was almost taken out by Arnold Moore until Steve Macklin came out. And also we go backstage where we see Aaron Riccaboni, and you also have Eddie Edwards come there as well, and then Steve Macklin there. Basically, they're talking about how Steve Macklin has been known for years, and has been trusted for years, pertains to Aaron Riccaboni's say of it. Edwards was not fond of it. Neither was the rest of the Impact team, but not saying all of them. I should say a couple. And basically, if you don't welcome him to the team, and cause they need a team that they need the team to fill desperately to go up against Arnold No More. So because with Josh Alexander gone, they need someone. So Steve Macklin is the guy. So, and there you go. That was the show for February 10th, 2022. Again, I don't remember if I give any overall showing for the shows from the January ones. So I'm gonna double check that whenever I can before I end this February edition. But when it comes to the show, I'm gonna go with an 8.5 out of 10. And that was your February 10th, 2022 edition. So Decay delivers a message to Jonah where it tends to Black Taurus at No Surrender. It's gonna be a match, and it's gonna be one of those monsters type of match that we're gonna be seeing. No, not the Monsters Ball. I want to confuse anyone. So, but there you go. Then we get to the Knockouts World Tag Team Champions. Inspiration continue their attempt of getting Caleb to leave the Influence to join them. So, which I'll be fine with, by the way. I love to see Caleb being with the Inspiration instead of being with the boring tag team of the Influence, especially from Teal Dashwood. Lady Frost versus finally the debut of the quintessential diva, Jasiah Shaw. And like itself, it was decent. And Jasiah Shaw, obviously, she won because this is her debut against by defeating Lady Frost, and there you go. No more to say. But yeah, by the way, I love her entrance. By the way, it's very good, very very good. Kenny King declares victory over Chris Sabin in the main event. I'm assuming it was the main event. We'll get to that. And basically, it was the whole thing with Gina Miller interviewing Arnold No More. Speaking of Gina Miller interviewing, she interviews the champ, Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuosa, which is another open challenge for either for the Reina de Reinos Championship or the RH Women's World Championship at No Surrender. Kenny King with Arnold Moore versus Chris Sabin with Impact Wrestling. basically a one-on-one match between Kenny King and Chris Sabin. Match itself happens, and Ian Riccaboni was on commentary with Tom Hannifan and Matthew Rayrold. Match itself was pretty good, and then we got Chris Sabin getting the win over Kenny King. You gotta love it, huh? Funny how that works with Chris Sabin getting these wins. But you kind of need Team Impact to get some momentum. But I won't agree with Kenny King losing. But whatever. After the match, Maria Kanellis gets on the microphone and basically says the unlike Impact team, Honor Moore is you can trust each other, but can you trust Steve Maclin? Basically, stirring the pot in a way, and potentially something as far as the Ring of Honor World Champion. Maybe he was the one who took him out, because we know one thing, we didn't take him out, and there you go. I'm gonna stay with that. So basically, saying maybe you should replace your teammate there. So Steve, so basically Steve Maclin wasn't there, by the way. He wasn't there at ringside with them. Also, they go backstage, and Steve Maclin tells don't listen to Rick. She just try to stir the pot and all that. And all of a sudden, AOS gets involved, get in the veins, and basically you're not you can't be trusted in a way. So Rhino, Chris Sabin, Rich Swann saying, we need him to be on our team, and AOS like, all right, fine, and there you go. Knockouts World Champion Mickie James and Chelsea Green versus Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans, and the match I thought was pretty decent with Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans winning. So there you go. Brian Myers presents How to Be a Professional, the final chapter. Basically, this comes to an end of the entry as he cuts both Ziggy Dice, I should say, and VSK, and that was it. No more entry. That was the final chapter. And finally, I'm saying this is the main event. Vampire Design, Eric Young, Joe Doring, and Dina versus Bullet Club, Jay White, Tamatonga, and Tonga Lola. With Chris Bell ringside. Match itself was pretty good, with Bullet Club winning. After the match, the Impact World Tag Team Champions comes in to start a fight with Bullet Club, and Bullet Club fights along too basically this whole fighting in the way till we get to the review, because I should mention too, by the way, was this the Golden Show edition? Let me just double check, because I may skip through it. Yes, this was the Golden Show edition. So that was the Golden Show edition for No Surrender. The show, I'm gonna give it a 8.5 out of 10, and that was your February 17th, 2022 edition. Quick Impact Wrestling results from February 19th, or I think it was 18th of 2022. Yeah, 2019. 19th of February for 2022. Pertains to Impact No Surrender 2022. Those dark match with Jessica Shaw first defeating, I should say, Richard Edwards in the Impact Digital exclusive, which lasted 4 minutes and 19 seconds. And then you had the pre-shows, which featured Trey Miguel defeating John Skyler in 5 minutes and 59 seconds. And then the other pre-show was Havoc, who returned on the pre-show with Rosemary at ringside, defeating Tina Ashwood with Madison Rayne and Caleb at ringside in 4 minutes and 37 seconds. And then we get to the actual card on the show. Jake Something versus Ace Austin with Matt Fulton at ringside versus Chris Bay versus Speedball Mike Bailey in a 4-way match to the terminal number contender for the Impact X-Division Championship against Trey Miguel in 7 minutes and 19 seconds with Jake Something getting the win. Then we had Jonah defeating Black Taurus with Chris Steve at ringside in 8 minutes and 8 seconds. Jay White defeated Eric Young in 12 minutes and 12 seconds. The champ of the Reina de Reinos champion and Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, Deonna Purrazzo, went against a mystery opponent to the Open Challenge, and it was Miranda Ellis, who was part of our women's tournament for Ring of Honor, but came up short against her being runner-up against Roxy. But for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship title, which she chose, 7 minutes and 26 seconds lasted. Deonna Purrazzo, obviously, she won. Matt Cardona defeated Jordan Grace by disqualification in the intergender match for the Impact Digital Media Championship title in 7 minutes and 58 seconds. The Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, defeated the Girls of Destiny of Tama Tonga and Tanga in a tag team match for the Impact World Tag Team Championship title in 12 minutes and 19 seconds. Mickie James defeated Tasha Steelz with Savannah Evans at ringside for the Impact Knockouts World Championship title in 10 minutes and 28 seconds. Moose defeated W. Morrissey to retain the Impact World Championship title in 12 minutes and 21 seconds. And finally, in a 10-man tag team match where if Honor No More wins, they stay. But if Honor No More loses, then they're gone for Impact Wrestling. Lasted 23 minutes and 17 seconds with Honor No More, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, PCO, Vincent, Kenny King with Mary Kanellis at ringside, defeated the Impact team of Chris Sabin, Rhino, Rich Swann, Steve Macklin, and Willie Mack. And you're asking what happened at 8 hours? I'll explain on the full review, my full details of it, on another video. But that was your Impact No Surrender 2022 results. And here we go. February 24th, 2022, the final one for February. Let's get right into it, Impact World Champion Moose kicks off the show following his win at No Surrender against W. Morrissey. Says that month after month, he's proven he's the greatest champion in all of pro wrestling. And, and despite, people talk about Eddie Edwards and what he did, says that, anyone steps in the ring with me, the whole world turns upside down. He took care of guys like Eddie Edwards, Josh Alexander, Matt Cardona, and also Heath comes out. He comes out and says, to Moose that I don't know if you're aware, but we're in the middle of a war against Honor No More, and and you talk about one of our own betrayed us, and all of a sudden Moose says, something on the lines of, I don't care for Impact Wrestling, I don't care for for what Eddie Edwards did, I don't care for Honor No More. He doesn't care about Heath and his kids, his ugly kids. I think he says about ugly kids or whatever. And then Heath fires back, and Heath takes him out with a wake-up call, and that was it. Basically, this is the way to build up a match between Heath versus Moose, which is going to happen. So Moose tells Team Impact, pertains to what happened, the whole thing with Honor No More, that they're not allowed to be part of the show. They're allowed to be there because they won, and now they're officially there to be part of Impact Wrestling. They're part of the roster. And Scott D'Amore says that and you guys cannot lay your hands on Eddie Edwards because he wants to hear himself of why he did what he did, which we'll get to, by the way. But he says, as far as Rhino's concerned, because Rhino wants to get his hands on Eddie Edwards, because we're happy to add no surrender, he will get his opportunity against Eddie Edwards. And it's going to be of all places. It's going to be at all places at. But in the meantime, Honor No More will take on Team Impact in a 6-man tag team match, which ends up being the main event. Honor No More arrives at the arena. Immediately, they were confronted by Moose, and basically says, there's no problems between us. Just stay out of each other's way. That's basically what it was. Scott D'Amore, was upset about them coming in late, and then all of a sudden, tell them to come, to get in the dressing room or something like that. That Scott D'Amore, planned for. And also, Moose talks to Scott D'Amore. Scott D'Amore was upset at Moose for saying what he said, when he opened the show, and he decided to have Heath to face Moose for the Impact World title at. Yes. So there you go. It was official. Moose defends his Impact World Championship title against the new challenger of his, Heath, at Impact. After Jordan was disqualified for the digital media title against Mike Cardona from No Surrender, they set up another match on this night. This time it's going to be no disqualifications, no countouts, anything goes. And let's get to it, because this match had a lot of stuff that you would think that it'll be a part, which is the digital media, like keyboards, those mobile devices, phones. Those other type equipment were tends to connect into any type of digital medias, and they used it as weapons in this match. And I think the studio was used too as well, versus Matt Cardona's part. Oh yeah, actually it was. But in the end, it was Matt Cardona getting the win, and still your digital media champion. So then we get to Tennille Dashwood blames Caleb, her loss with Havoc at No Surrender, and blah 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 blah. I think the inspiration may come out there to interrupt their pet talking away and try to get Caleb to be with the inspiration to leave the influence, because the influence are treating him very badly, which they kind of are. But we'll see how that turns out. But then we had the inspiration end up being challenged by the influence. I'm like, oh god, I knew this was coming. The influence versus the inspiration. For the inspirations, knockouts or defending titles at and like whoopee. This is bad for the inspiration. I should have known this was going to happen for the inspiration. Exhibition champion Trey Miguel interrupts Jake something, retains to Jake Central being interviewed because of his loss, and Trey, basically Jake something they want to hear from Trey Miguel of his pet talking away of feeling disappointed. Basically he's it's gonna be a little tension between the two because of that whole disagreement in a way, because they're boys in a way, because Jake something who won the match at No Surrender to get his opportunity against Trey Miguel for the X title at, and it should be a barn burner, which we'll get to. So, but there you go. But they basically build up tension between those two. So Skylar versus Ponder Gujaw. Again, I will learn his name correctly eventually. But they had a match, and Brad Myers was on commentary, well, in a way of his own alternative commentary desk, as he's talking about the match, and Bhupinder Gujar wins against John Skylar. After the match, W. Morrissey is enraged. He's going right after Brian Myers, but Brian Myers escapes, only for John Skylar to attack W. Morrissey. W. Morrissey also lays him out, pulling through a table that it was set for Brian Myers there, with all of his stuff on there in a way. So that's basically what they're doing here with W. Morrissey and Brian Myers. They're teasing a match here where W. Morrissey is going to be going right after Brian Myers. Boy, does Brian Myers regret cutting those those rookies retains to Laverne Trees, because they could have benefit of helping them out against W. Morrissey. Well, Steve Macklin, he explains he doesn't care for what it was, especially what he's going to say of his explanation of why he did what he did, which we'll get to. Can't wait to get to that. But he says that he reveals that he's going to have a match against Eddie Edwards, which we'll get to the March edition of the results for Impact Wrestling review. But basically, Eddie Edwards will have to answer to him one-on-one. So there you go. Deanna Purrazzo with another of her champ challenge with the Reina de Reinos Championship and the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. The challenger who accepted the challenge was Lady Frost. Lady Frost answered her, and she wanted to go after the Reina de Reinos Championship. So they had a match, pretty good match, with Deanna Purrazzo winning. After the match, though, the quintessential diva comes out. It's Jessica Shaw was out there to add insult to injury by just coming out there and stealing the spotlight. That's all she did. She didn't attack her. She just went out there, looking all fabulous in a way, looking all beautiful in a way, like she's going to a fashion show of Victoria's Secret, except she's not wearing any Victoria's Secret's lingeries. So So that was it. That was it. And I was like, what was the point? So they built tensions with them. So Jay White says the leader of Bullet Club, he had to cut some dead weight of God, Versus Destiny of Tamatonga and Tangalola acting rapper at No Surrender. And you'll hear more about my full details of it. I'm pretty sure you already heard me talk about that too, being this the asylum and on the asylum, about how I thought it was stupid. And then with the pertains of the Good Brothers being back with Bullet Club, which I'll explain that too, by the way. It was nothing personal, it was just business. And now what Jay White's gonna do now, moving forward, is to have focus on his opponent, Alex Shelley, which, by the way, where he's been all this time, right? It's been a year since he's been away from Impact Wrestling. So Alex Shelley is going to be returning after a year of absence of Impact Wrestling. He's been doing other things, by the way, but he's finally coming back to Impact Wrestling to face Jay White at. And I cannot wait. I just cannot wait. Also, we get Run by Design coming out. They walk in to interrupt, and basically they were upset with the Good Brothers of this whole thing. They didn't even know that Run by Design didn't know what was going on with that whole thing, and they still owe a tag title shot that the Good Brothers promised them. And all of a sudden, Guerrillas of Destiny storms in and starts brawling, and basically Run by Design helps along to build Bullet Club, and then Bullet Club retreats. Run by Design and God and some nodding heads are respecting the way. So there you go. Not much to say about that. Ziggler Dice versus Jonah, and Jonah wins. Of course he does. After the match, he had more insult to injuries as he does the tsunami splash onto Ziggler Dice, and there you go. He goes backstage as he's being confronted by Gail Kim. Gail Kim is not appreciative of him, keep attacking his opponent after the match, but is impressive in what he does. And Jonah says the reason why he's doing this is because you're giving me these type of guys that are not even competition, that are not even in his level. So he demands more competition, a worthy of competition. So Gail Kim had an idea where it tends to go up against Arnold Moore's PCO, the French Canadian Frankenstein, at Sacrifice. And I can't wait to see that. So Jonah leaves. All of a sudden, John Stringer walks up to Gail Kim, says, he wants a piece of Jonah, of what he did, and Gail Kim makes it official for the next show of Impact Wrestling, which is going to be the March additional one. So, Knockouts World Champion Mickie James and Chelsea Green are in the office of Gail Kim, where basically they're discussing, Chelsea Green to get an opportunity against Mickie James for the title. All of a sudden, Tasha Steelz walks in, and Tasha Steelz basically pleads her case. If it wasn't for Chelsea Green getting involved, which that's exactly what happened at No Surrender. With all that involvement, she would have been the champion. So they decided to make a match between Tasha Steelz versus Chelsea Green. Winner of that match gets to face Mickie James at. And then it tends to Mickie James, she wants to keep her eye on Savannah Evans to get and then Chelsea Green's no, I got this. I want to do this on my own. So, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that match for the March edition one. The Good Brothers will defend their Impact World Tag Team titles against Run by Design, which has been announced during that time. There you go. And finally, Honor No More. You have Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Kenny King with Rhea Kennels at ringside. Also with Vincent and PCO versus Rich Swann, William Mack, and Chris Sabin with Heath and Rhino at ringside. The match itself happened as a pretty decent with Honor No More winning. Also, we get Eddie Edwards coming out. No music of I Am the Fire. Oh, that's over now. So he's about to explain, and they went to commercial break during that time, and then after the commercial break, you have the Impact team trying to get are enraged and they're being held back in a way, and Scott D'Amore was out there to make sure everything's is all good, So Eddie Edwards, this is what he had to say about why he did what he did, and here we go. Eddie Edwards says, why did he betray his teams and no surrender. Says that despite coming up in the industry with Honor No More and being betrayed with ROH announcement that they will be going on a hiatus, basically taking a hiatus, And I say to myself, okay, well, what's that got to do with you though? You're in Impact Wrestling. It's not like he was invited back to Ring of Honor to do these matches in a way. But let's continue. It says that basically when it takes the whole thing with Ring of Honor announcing their hiatus, they're taking a hiatus. He said, but that's not the reason why he joined Honor No More. Then Eddie Edwards reveals that the real reason he joined Honor No More is because they have an identity of corruption, a cancerous growth of dishonor in the pro wrestling industry, and he wants to expose it. Okay. Eddie recalls when Impact opened that forbidden door 2 years ago, and it resulted Kenny Omega, someone who didn't work for Impact Wrestling, winning the Impact World title. Eddie Edwards says that he waited patiently for his shot to restore honor to the company, but management chose the likes of Moose, who failed, Sami Callihan, who failed, and Josh Alexander instead. Even though Josh Alexander didn't get the opportunity yet to face Moose. Not Moose, Kenny Omega, I should say. I get what that was said there. Basically saying that they chose Josh Alexander over Eddie Edwards. Basically, they decided to go with Josh Alexander to be the guy to carry that banner. But here's the thing: after Kenny Omega lost the belt to Christian Cage, because this wasn't mentioned, by the way. When Christian Cage won the belt from Kenny Omega, which by the way, Christian Cage is part of AEW. Then mention about that with Christian Cage being from AEW, for being the Impact World Champion who doesn't work for Impact Wrestling. But Josh Alexander, he did bring the belt back, and then where it pertains to Moose, being the champion, not being the champion, and then we see how Eddie Edwards, got the shot against Moose for the belt 2-0, and he lost. So either way, it doesn't really matter at this point now, because the Impact World title belt is now back in the position of Impact Wrestling. So how does this make any sense in a way? Unless one of AEW's owns are still carrying the Impact World title belts with them, and not appearing that much on Impact Wrestling like how Kenny Omega has been doing. But Christian Cage though, he still he managed to still appear on Impact Wrestling. With him being the Impact World Champion, the Impact World Champion, despite working for another company. But either way, the belt hasn't come back either way to the company. So I don't know why he's complaining about all this. I guess because Eddie Edwards was being selfish. I guess this is his character now. He's selfish, and basically what I came out of this whole thing, they basically doing a reduce, reuse, recycle storyline that the WWE did with Dolph Ziggler back in what was it 2019? What happened? Yeah, 2019. The whole thing with Kofi Kingston going to WrestleMania to face Daniel Bryan for the title, where it should have been Mustafa Ali's storyline, but instead they give it to all people Dolph Ziggler, where Dolph Ziggler comes out there and crying about it, saying it should have been me. That's what I took from this. But Eddie Edwards, basically what Eddie Edwards is saying here, it should have been me. And then to make matters worse, well, I wouldn't say that because it ends up getting better. And it's just this is coming from me saying this. Because Alicia Edwards comes out. And y'all know how I feel about Alicia Edwards. Oh man. I don't hate her, by the way. I prefer her more than Brandy Rose. I'll say that. So Alicia Edwards comes out. She tells her husband, He should be asking Impact for forgiveness and questioning the lessons that he taught her to always have faith and believe anything is possible. And Edwards says, Honor no more is my new family. Tells Alicia Edwards that if she wants to remain a part of this family, then she can make that decision. Edwards says that he didn't turn his back on Impact Wrestling. He simply walked away from the people that have turned his back on him. And Eddie Edwards leaves the ring with Honor No More. Alicia Edwards stands there looking all dejected, and that was it. I love Alicia Edwards' acting here. For once, Alicia Edwards' acting was good, and her promo was on point. For once, I was into Alicia Edwards here. What's this going to lead to later on? If she could be part of Honor No More. And I'll get to more of that when I talk about the March edition of it as well, pertains to how they're continuing this faction of Honor No More, especially with the whole PCO situation thing. So, but we'll get to that. But there you go, that was the show. Now again, folks, pertains to the January edition, because I don't remember if I get all the shows pertains to my overall show rating of it before the February 24th, 2022 edition. This one, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Very good show, and despite the promo from Eddie Edwards, where some of it made no sense to me, whatever. But Alicia Edwards, in a way, saved it for me. I can't believe I'm saying this. Of all people who saved the show for me, for this show to end, was of all people, Alicia Edwards. Man, funny how that works. But there you go, folks. That will do for the February edition of Impact Wrestling results for this Impact Wrestling review. Thank you all for watching. I'm going to end from here. So, for Is the Artist, formerly known as the Natural Born Thriller, saying peace on the streets for you. Take care.